ancient man can teach modern man many lessons. The lessons that ancient man has to teach cannot be delivered in a conventional way, and at the time, those lessons may not have even been delivered consciously or directly. But nevertheless, the lessons that the ancient man can teach the modern man are still ever present within literature, poetry, and the arts more broadly for modern man to enjoy and learn from. Myths, plays, and poems are normally the most common medium for the ancients to pass down knowledge to their descendants. Within plays, within myths, within poetry, there is implied wisdom and there is hidden wisdom that may not be directly discussed, but is a theme and knowledge that can still be observed and absorbed by the descendants of ancient man. One of the most important lessons that one can take from especially the ancient Greeks and Romans is their understanding of a hero, what it took to become a hero, and everything that went around that. A hero is quite interesting because a hero is the aspirational figure of a society, ordinarily, with very few exceptions. The hero, through their actions, through their deeds, is someone who the common man can aspire to be like. And understanding what the ancients understood to be a hero can help modern man develop more healthy role models and a more healthy understanding of the world. Particularly the Greeks and particularly the Romans had a very different understanding of what a hero was. The Greeks, on the one hand, had a very selfish view of the hero, and the Romans had a very selfless view of the hero, whereas the Greek hero would do great deeds for themselves and their own glory and their own reputation. The Roman hero would do great deeds for Rome, for their people, and the glory thereof. It's been suggested, and this is something that I would certainly agree with, that the Greek view of the hero is the barbaric hero, whereas the Roman is the civilized hero. Particularly the Greek and Roman heroes, seen together, can be a very informative comparison for someone. And like all comparisons, there's a lot you can learn and there's a lot they have in common. The Greek and Roman heroes both share something very interesting in terms of what both cultures and both civilizations understood a hero to be. For example, hubris is a constant in both Greek and Roman heroic tellings. The support structures of heroes, what it takes to create a hero, though it might be slightly harder to see in Greek mythology than Roman mythology, is still a point of agreement. The consequences of harming women and scorning women is another constant in both Greek and Roman mythology, and something modern man could learn a lot from. Friedrich Nietzsche and Thomas Carlyle, both writing in perhaps the early modern era, had very different understandings of heroic will, heroic traits, and overall what it took to be a hero. Friedrich Nietzsche, in his book Thus Spoke Zarathustra, tends to favour the Greek view of the hero, the selfish hero, the hero who does great deeds for themselves. And in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche explains this. Nietzsche explains that civilization is collapsing, right before your eyes, and that a great hero cannot be the hero of civilization because the people who would make up that civilization don't want to be civilized. So it's a justification from Nietzsche that in barbaric times one must adopt the Greek view of the hero, the selfish hero, whereas Thomas Carlyle, writing sometime before Friedrich Nietzsche, addresses and touches on the heroic traits of civilization, the selfless hero, the hero who does great deeds not for their own glory but for the glory of their people and the safety and protection of their people. Both interpretations of heroic will are valid, and in some aspects they share certain understandings of heroic will and what it is to be a hero. And that's something that modern man certainly can learn from. But there is something to be said for the Nietzschean view that a hero of civilization can only occur when civilization is present. Otherwise, a hero must be barbaric. A hero must be selfless. A hero must be selfish. One of the most interesting constants that appears through Greek and Roman heroic portrayals and heroic myths is what it takes to create a hero. The Greeks would probably be more reluctant to accept that a hero does not exist in a vacuum. A hero is not a god. They do not just simply appear and be able to do heroic deeds. A hero has a support network. It has teachers. A hero has people around them to support them, people to teach them, and people to push them. In Roman mythology, specifically the Aeneid, the acceptance of what it takes to create a hero is more expressed than in the Greek. But as I keep saying, it remains a constant. Both Greeks and Romans understood that a hero had to exist in the right time and with the right support network to commit heroic deeds. In the Greek myth of Theseus and the Minotaur, this is clear. Theseus, who was a prince of Athens, who sailed all the way to Crete to fight and kill the Minotaur, would not have succeeded and would not have survived without Ariadne giving him the string, Ariadne's string, to find his way back. What is important for modern man to learn from this is a hero will not just come. A hero will not just appear. A hero is supported and made by the people around them. Even a hero who is an exceptional individual, as most heroes are, cannot achieve heroic deeds on their own, or at the very least, when they do, they will not survive. It's important for modern man to understand this, because if modern man can understand the conditions to which a hero is created, modern man can create heroes. And modern man can create support networks for those heroes, so heroes can be, for lack of a better term, summoned when needed. Another Greek myth where this theme is present is Jason and the Argonauts. Jason, at birth, was scurried away from his kingdom. Jason was a prince of a city-state because his city-state was conquered. When Jason reached manhood, he had a chance encounter with the king who had conquered his family and displaced Jason. And the king, while drunk, boastfully said that anyone who could return the golden fleece could be and would be made king. Jason, being the rightful king and possessing heroic will, went forth from his meeting with the usurper and went to gather a crew to sail to Colchis and retrieve the golden fleece. In this myth, in this story, the Argonauts, which would be the crew that Jason accrued for his adventure, saved Jason's life many times. Not only that, when the Argonauts finally appeared in Colchis, they were unable to steal the golden fleece off their own volition. So, Jason seduced Medea, the princess of Colchis, who in the night went and stole the golden fleece and returned home with Jason. The story of Jason and the Argonauts leaves the clear message that one cannot achieve heroic things on their own. Even when an individual is a great individual who has no equal, they still need lesser men and women to do the essential things for them and support them in their quests. Modern man should understand this, because understanding this is how modern man can become great again. Another ever-present theme in Greek and Roman mythology is that of the dangers of scorning a woman. Theseus, after he has killed the Minotaur, takes Ariadne home with him. Ariadne at this point had fallen in love with Theseus. So, Ariadne, loving Theseus, having just betrayed her people for Theseus, is absolutely enthralled with Theseus. Theseus, it's not clear why in the myth, but some speculate that he had a betrothed wife back in Athens, left Ariadne on an island. Ariadne was not stupid. Ariadne returned quickly to Jason, and Jason, in his rush to maroon Ariadne, did not change his sails. Theseus was meant to change his sails to white if he was returning. Theseus did not. And as a result, his father killed himself. And in some tellings of the story, Theseus then followed. This tragedy that occurred to Theseus was all his fault. Though in Theseus and the Minotaur, Ariadne does not exact revenge herself, the implication is there that scorning women, especially women who give themselves to you in body and soul, is a fool's game. It will have tragic consequences for the hero. In Jason and the Argonauts, after Medea has betrayed her people, like Ariadne, and given herself in body and soul to Jason, bearing him 2 children, is also scorned in the same way as Ariadne. However, the difference is, in the 2 tellings, Medea is a witch and has power. She has magical powers. So Medea, in her great grief, curses Jason. And to cut a long story short, the curse comes to a climax with Medea killing her children and Jason later killing himself. It's very important for modern man to understand the practicalities of not scorning women. Women in themselves are very competent political actors. Women can do things that men can't. And a lot of the time, women will do these things for men they love. It's important that the powerful, heroic men who are able to seduce women in this way understand that this power of seduction comes with a responsibility. If heroic men leave useful women, politically useful women, after they have passed their usefulness, those women will become bitter and hateful, perhaps rightly so, and become a danger to the heroes and everything they stand for, and ruin their lives. In the modern day, this could take many forms. It might not be as dramatic as murdering your children, or the children of the hero and the hero's people, but nevertheless, certainly in a political context, scorning women, especially women who give themselves to the cause, will likely lead to those women being set on destroying the cause. Another theme that constantly reoccurs in both Greek and Roman mythology is hubris. Hubris is the belief in oneself in a particularly arrogant way that one sees themselves as invincible. Hubris seems to plague Greek heroes, and especially Greek heroes like Achilles and Jason, Theseus. Those type of heroes especially suffer from hubris, but Roman heroes such as Aeneas also suffer from hubris. The Greeks, perhaps in a better way and a more direct way than the Romans, display the consequences of hubris. Achilles in the Iliad refuses a settlement offer from Agamemnon, and this refusal to accept the settlement offer and return to the fighting leads to Achilles' companion Patroclus donning his armour to save the Greeks and beat back the Trojans, and this leads to Patroclus getting killed. The lesson here is your arrogance, your hubris, Achilles, led to the death of your much beloved companion. In the story of Arachne and Athena, Arachne, the great weaver, claims to be as good at weaving as Athena herself. The hubris Arachne shows in challenging Athena to a weaving competition ultimately is Arachne's downfall. Arachne eventually loses the weaving contest to Athena and ends up killing herself in disgrace. And after Arachne kills herself, she is turned into a spider. This is a consequence of hubris. The consequences of hubris that are displayed so greatly and so vividly in Greek mythology should be something modern man learns from, especially in politics. Movements that are built around one great man tend to be particularly vulnerable, because one man can be defeated, one man can be imprisoned. Hubris in a political context is depending on one person because of that person's greatness. In a political context, in a modern political context, modern man must not be hubristic. Organisations should be set up in a way that makes every man replaceable, because if this is not done, all that need happen to topple that organisation is that one man be destroyed either by reputation or in life. And the effect of that will be is the movement falling apart. This can even be seen in ancient times. After Alexander the Great died, his empire fell apart because it was built solely off him. And wise men should learn from this, learn from these ancient lessons, and apply them to day-to-day life, especially in politics. The ancients have lots to teach us, and we should not be fools and ignore them.